Hello, and welcome to Handled Ish Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm your host, Betsy Hayes, and I am so glad you're here with me in podcast land or on YouTube. This is episode 37, and I'm going to talk about birthday reflections when it comes to productivity. So, this is my birthday week. I am turning 55 on Saturday, which feels significant. And obviously, I've known this is coming for a while. It's not like I all of a sudden am aware I'm turning 55. And so I've really been thinking about, I've really been a lot more reflective with this particular birthday than I normally are. I love birthdays. I love my birthday. It happens to be in my favorite month, which is October. I'm a big fan of celebrating birthdays for a month, if at all possible. So I'm one of those all-in birthday people, and think that birthdays are worth celebrating. With when people, say, "Oh, I don't want to have a birthday," my thought is always, well, I think having a birthday is incredibly better than the alternative, right? Which is not being around to have a birthday. So, not only are birthdays fun, I think they're definitely opportunities for moments of gratitude, when we're still here, in my opinion, that's pretty great. So, I think there's definitely, something to be grateful for just being able to wake up in the morning. And as I am reflecting on this pretty significant milestone birthday, yeah, I'm really thinking about productivity, stuff I want to get done, stuff I have done, things I've never been able to do. Is it now time? And I've really kind of been doing some sorting because, like many of us, I've had, things that I've done and feel really happy about. And then I have things that I've just never quite gotten off the ground, and also things that I've sort of half done and not really got established those habits and all that good stuff. And so one of the things I'm doing this week is spending some time thinking about, are some of these just things I'm just not going to do? Is this not something that I'm going to want to spend time on during this next chapter of my life? Or is this something that, maybe now's the time, right? Now's the season. Um, as I approach eventual retirement, not anytime soon, but not too long from now. Thinking about that. And anyway, so I guess bottom line is I've been doing a lot of thinking, and it's really been fun. And especially in this whole like getting things done situation, and what I want to do next. And so I wanted to share with you a few thoughts on that. So one thing I've really been thinking about is, how much is too much when it comes to, a detailed schedule, and what is that perfect balance between, knowing what you're going to do in a day and having some completely unscheduled time. Um, I love the idea of wiggle room, and I know we've talked about this on the podcast, and we'll talk about it more. Um, However, I've not really been someone who's super comfortable with the idea of a lot of unstructured time. I like to have at least a few thoughts about, well, I might do this or I might do that. But I'm wondering if maybe I should do some experimenting this year with really not having, a plan for an entire half day or day, and not thinking about it ahead of time, and seeing if that's something that I enjoy. Full disclosure, I don't think so. But again, I think one of the most fun things to do in the space of productivity is experiment. And so I think under the auspices of being a scientist, I think I definitely might try to give myself a few more chunks of just completely unstructured, unplanned time during the next year, and kind of see what happens. Um, I'm also contemplating, some kind of a quest. I've always really loved the idea of a quest. And I was reading about someone who turned 70. And so they went on 70 adventures with people that they loved. And they talked about it. And I thought that sounded fabulous. And I thought that since I'm 55, that number is smaller. And so this might be a good year to do a quest, because 55 of something feels pretty doable. I don't know if it's, 50, and use the quest idea to jumpstart something that I wanted to do more of, right? Or create a habit. Maybe it's 55 hikes, which I know is ironic for someone who broke their kneecap not too long ago. Little quick update on that. Doctor appointment on Thursday. Hopefully there will be some additional things I can do and hopefully even some PT in my not too distant future. So I will keep you posted. But yeah, maybe it's, I want to go on 55 hikes this year, or go to coffee with 55 different people, or, you know, I don't know, try do 55 different writing prompts, or, 55 different new recipes, 55 different new kinds of ice cream. I don't know. Might be hard to find 55, but you could probably do it. Um, Anyway, yeah. So there's 52 weeks in a year. So the 55, I'm going to have to double up, but it's approximately one a week for doing a thing. So I think that I'm definitely going to be embarking on some sort of a quest. I think that sounds like a fun thing to do in this, new chapter that I am. I don't know. I really feel like 55 is a cool, like, hey, there's a whole new chapter ahead of you. Feels like a good time to have that sort of framing. Yeah, so a little bit more of unstructured time to see if I like that, or if I want to go back to my idea of having a couple of ideas and or a completely planned and happy day or half day. Some sort of a quest of 55 things. And then obviously going to have to figure out how to do that implementation, which of course is going to be going back to that conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, that if you're adding something in, right, you're going to want to have to shrink or delete something. Excuse me. And then the other thing, so three things I want to experiment with this year. The last one is this idea of just a massive purge, a physical purge of like stuff in my house, a digital purge of, you know, um, email folders and Evernotes, and, you know, um, maybe even, social media people I follow. I don't know, but just a massive purge, both a digital purge and a physical purge. This is something I've been sort of leading up to for a number of years, and I've kind of dabbled in and then not really followed through. And so over the next year, I'm going to be putting together a structure for both a physical purge and a digital purge. And once I've got those structures in place, I will definitely share them with you. So I guess today is just a lot of aspirations, not exactly anything practical. We'll get back to practicality next week, I promise. But um, yeah, so wanted to share some of the productivity slash getting things done that I want to do during this next year, and also maybe encourage you to do the same thing. When your birthday comes, maybe think about, wow, everybody gets a next chapter, right? And the next chapter starts on their birthday. And maybe you can sit down and ponder, what are the things that I've been talking about doing but haven't? Are those things I just want to let go of? Are those things I really want to make time for over the next year? 52 weeks, you can get a lot of stuff done if if you plan and are organized about it. 52 weeks can also disappear in a moment if we're not intentional about the way we want to spend their time. So, it's a good time, between cake and ice cream and, Facebook happy birthday messages and all of that. I just really encourage you to go, okay, you know, what are going to be a couple of my things I want to try out, and again, have the light touch about it, have the scientist approach, right? The experiment. How could I do this? How would I do this? What would be my obstacles? How could I overcome those obstacles, and then give it a try? And whatever I choose to do 55 times and in this year, I promise you that, if halfway through I'm not excited about my quest, I will certainly, call it a day and say, what, that was an experiment that, while I'm grateful to have done it, yeah, it's not something I'm going to continue. That is totally okay as well. So happy birthday to you whenever your birthday is. Again, love to celebrate people on their birthdays. And let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me today in my birthday week. And I'd love to hear, what kind of reflection you do on your birthday, if anything. And maybe has there been, something that you've done differently as a result of your birthday? Do you have really ambitious plans like I do with my physical and digital purge and my 55 item quest of something? Um, are you going to go big or are you going to go small, right? Maybe you're going to decide to shrink a bunch of things over the next year, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I guess that's kind of what I'm doing too, right? With my purging. I'm so looking forward to, I don't think I'm going to have a yard sale or anything, but definitely, putting together a bunch of things to donate to folks and, or give to people that I think might, appreciate, something that I don't want or have use for anymore, and free up room for potentially new things that I'll bring into the house. And the digital purge in particular, I'm really excited about because I feel like digital stuff is very weighty. And to be honest with you, sometimes it's a little bit weightier than physical stuff for me, just because when I sort of think about all of my digital things, I feel like there's a lot that probably doesn't need to be around anymore. So very much looking forward to that. So feedback, of course, on social at Betsy Hayes, my website, betsyahays.com. Hayes is Hays. Would love to have you subscribe, share, consider rating and reviewing. I appreciate all of you so much. And this is just a joy when I get to hear from you. Such a joy. And tune in next week for the next episode of Handled Ish, Productivity for the Imperfect. Until then, take care, be kind to yourself. You are doing way better than you think you are. Trust me. Take care.